video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global brand for men's hygiene and grooming. What Manscaped offer you is essentially the perfect tools and formulas for the 3 odour zones: your body, your balls and your butt. And the guys at Manscaped kindly sent me the Perfect Package 4.0 for me to show you guys myself. The first thing you'll notice when you get your Manscaped parcel is the quality of the packaging, but for me it's what's inside which is really important. And for me personally, I was really impressed by the Ball Preserver and the Ball Reviver. Two things you don't really think about, but it's massively essential for the hygiene of your balls. But of course the main talking point about the Perfect Package 4.0 is the Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped's 4th generation waterproof electric ball trimmer with advanced skin safe technology, which massively reduces the chances of cuts and nicks when shaving your private area. Basically, think of it like a choa for Mexico at every World Cup. The Lawnmower 4.0 saves your balls, it really does. It also has a super smart charging system with this little docking station. You just put your trimmer in, give it a second, the light will come on, and now your trimmer is charging. It really is as simple as that. And I think that's my favourite thing about the whole product. It's so small, so easy to use, it just makes the whole process of trimming your balls and looking after your male hygiene, it just makes it all so much easier. The people at Manscaped have actually even gone one step further, because now for a limited time you can get all of this plus 2 extra products for free, which includes this travel bag and also a pair of boxer briefs, which again, really comfortable, really recommend. All of this is available using the link in the description down below. Head to manscaped.com and use code AJAnalysis for 20% off your order and free postage, and again, those 2 free gifts. Make sure to use Manscaped in the description down below to get the right tools to save your family jewels. Hey guys, welcome back to the Scouting for Manchester United series. The series where we look at different players from around the world, talk about some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses, their contract situation, their injury record, all stuff like that, and then talk about whether or not Manchester United should sign them. With the aim being that by the end of the season we'll have a group of players where we can go, yes, Manchester United should sign these footballers. Now this series has had a bit of a break over recent weeks with the World Cup, but one player who hasn't had a break during the World Cup is Cody Gakpo. And 3 goals in 3 games in the group stage, up against Argentina next in the competition. He's having a really good tournament, and so I thought today we should talk about him. Now the interesting thing about Cody Gakpo is, typically when I do these videos, I kind of set up the video, and I know that by the end my main point is going to be this, that this is kind of my final conclusion. Genuinely with Cody Gakpo, I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm still a little bit unsure, so I want more of a discussion in this video, and I really want your guys' input in the comments down below, and perhaps even in the future we can do this sort of video as a live stream, to really get your guys' input. But with Cody Gakpo, please just let me know your thoughts on him, because genuinely, I'm still a little bit unsure. In terms of his profile, we can see that he's 23 years old, stands at about 6'2", 6'3" tall, and currently playing for PSV and doing a very good job. And of course, currently playing for the Netherlands, as we were saying. And immediately the first question is, if Cody Gakpo was to sign for Manchester United, where would he play? Well, there's 2 options, the left wing or up front. For me, this is the first big talking point. If he was to sign for Manchester United, where would he play? Because PSV, he often plays as a left winger, sort of in a Marcus Rashford-esque role actually, where yes, he's starting wide, but he constantly wants to move inside into more of an inside forward area. He's not so keen on going out wide, going down the line and putting crosses into the box. Now, yes, he is capable of doing that. If he was to play as a winger, he could do this, take his man on, put the ball into the box on his weaker left foot, but he much prefers to come inside into these areas, burst past fullbacks, burst past defenders, get into these areas and then either shoot at goal or try and clip across in towards the far post for another forward to attack. So that is the first question. If Gakpo was to play, what is his best position? Because of course, when you now move a player from a left wing role to up front, it's very different. I'm seeing a lot of people saying Cody Gakpo can play as a striker because he's tall, he's physical, got good close control. That means that he can play as a winger but also as a striker. And whilst it may be true that he can play up front, I don't think it's right to assume that because he's big and can play on the wing that he makes a good striker. I think it's wrong to assume that. It might be right that he can do it, but it's wrong just to naturally make that assumption, because when you play up front compared to on the left wing, it's just very different. Initially, from a cognitive point of view, the role is so different. If you're Cody Gakpo in this situation and Eriksen has the ball and you're playing as a left winger, you really don't have to focus on too much. You can look at the ball, you can open your body up, and you know that 180 degrees is covered by the touchline. You know there are no defenders on that side, and you know that you've got the fullback here, you can see your fullback. So it's very easy to receive on the back foot, get the ball, like so, turn and then get at your man. It's very easy to do that. When you play up front, it's completely different. Because now there are threats in terms of the opposition from 360 degrees. So before there was only 180 degrees he really needed to scan and be aware of. The second you move up front, you've now got players behind you, in front of you, to your left and to your right. So immediately, from a cognitive point of view, the role of playing as a striker is just completely different. And actually, I've been going back and watching games over the past couple of years. He hasn't got this nailed yet. He hasn't quite figured out that idea of scanning his surroundings when playing as a striker. It's very different. The other thing that is different is, yes, he is 6'2", he can more than look after himself, but typically centre-backs are a lot bigger than full-backs. So whereas when Gakpo plays on the wing, he naturally kind of physically has an advantage over the fullback, he is bigger than most fullbacks he plays against, that kind of gives him a head start. If a fullback gets sucked into this area, he can knock the ball past him. He's then got that physical strength to hold them off, knock them off, move into these areas, and that is sort of his trademark. Getting the ball here, shrugging the defender off, having that burst of pace into this area. Again, if you're playing him up front, he doesn't naturally have that advantage, because most centre-backs are about 6 foot, 6'2". So, again, it's a very different role. So, like I keep saying, I think it's wrong to assume that just because he can do it on the wing, that he can do it up front. Especially when you look at what Ten Hag wants from a striker. We know that Ten Hag wants a striker that can kind of link the play as well. Drop into these areas, complete his 1-2s, bring others into the game. If we look at his FBref report, that isn't necessarily Gakpo's strength. In terms of pass completion, now this is compared to wingers rather than forwards. The 8th percentile for pass completion, with about 66% pass completion, and then the 66th percentile for passes attempted. So he isn't a player that wants to get tons of the ball and really link the play. Again, look at those, compare it to the dribble numbers, the dribbles completed, things like that. He is much more of a player that wants to get the ball and attack players. Also, the fact that his progressive passes received are quite high. It shows that he is a player that wants to have a higher starting position, receive the ball, and then play from there. So, genuinely, with Cody Gakpo, this is my main concern. We can see that he is a very good player, because, of course, some of those FBref numbers are stupid. Look at that top section, the 99th, the 97th, the 97th, the 99th, the 99th, the 99th, the 97th percentile for various attacking metrics. And then even if we look at his info goal report, we can see that from his expected goals in the league this season, he would have been expected to score 6.68, he scored 9. He's also massively overperforming his expected goals in the World Cup as well. In the Europa League he was doing it, and right now he is a hot property. In terms of European football, he is the most informed player. Yes, we can talk about Mbappe is brilliant, Messi's in really good form this season, Haaland's in really good form. In terms of goals and assists, Gakpo statistically is having the best season so far in all of Europe. He's got the most assists in all of Europe, he's scoring a lot of goals, he is clearly a quality player. So in terms of, is he Manchester United quality? Yeah, I think he is. I think we're seeing that with his ability on the ball, his touches, his dribbling, his goals, his assists, his output in general. A very, very good footballer. So don't get me wrong, I think he's quality. It's just from a tactical point of view, does he solve the problem that Manchester United want? That's where my question is. I fear that he's a little bit like Marcus Rashford, where, yes, he probably can play up front, he can do a job there, he'll get you some goals over the course of the season, he'll do a good job. But actually, realistically, he is a left winger, or he is an inside forward from the left. That is where he wants to be. Now, potentially, thinking about it, that works. Potentially having two players that can do a job up front, but actually also want to be a left inside forward, perhaps that works beautifully. Maybe that gives you the perfect balance, because at times Gakpo wants to come into this area, which lets Rashford go past, which we know is his strength. He loves to play in that way. Alternatively, there'll be times where Rashford's set as the striker, Gakpo can get the ball into these areas and try and dribble. So perhaps it could work having two players that kind of play similarly in this style. However, personally, I think Ten Hag wants a proper striker up front, and right now I don't think Gakpo is that. I have to be completely honest with you. Like I said, fundamentally as a footballer, I think he is very, very good. And I think we're seeing that this season, and I think his potential is clear for all to see. He's still only 23 years old. The ceiling for this guy is really, really high. He can be a very, very good footballer and play at the top level for a top European club. Absolutely, he can do that. But tactically, is he what Ten Hag wants? I'm not sure he is. Now, for the Netherlands, we have seen a slightly different Cody Gakpo. He's playing more as a right striker in the front two at the moment. And basically his role for Netherlands is to be a bit more of a runner, rather than being a player who, at club level, is on the left wing, getting the ball and dribbling. He's more of a player who plays as a runner, looking to play on the shoulder, very often in the average positions. He is Netherlands' highest player, so perhaps United could use him in that way, more of a on-the-shoulder striker, That could work. I just think if he's going to come in and play as a striker, he needs a lot of work. He is not a finished article as a striker by any means. There's a lot he needs to learn. Now, if he is a player that is willing to learn, which I think he probably is, it seems like he's got a good mentality. The fact that he's club captain at 23 years old is always a good sign. So, perhaps he would be willing to learn. We know that Ten Hag is a very good manager and a very good coach, getting the best from his players. So perhaps it could work. I just think right now, there are certain things that Gakpo just doesn't do, which a striker needs to be able to do. He isn't very good at pinning his centre-back and receiving the ball into feet. He's not very good at linking the play. He's not the greatest in the box with headers. Yes, he scores a few over the course of a season, but it's not really his strength. I'm not quite sure that this is the position for him. And Cody Gakpo is a really exciting player. I want to see the best of him. Perhaps the best of him isn't at Manchester United and certainly isn't as a striker. I don't know though, I might be wrong. The other concern a little bit is over his injury record. He's missed a few games over the past couple of seasons. The fact that a couple of these are unknown injuries makes it a little bit awkward because it could be anything, so it's hard to tell if they're recurring injuries. A couple of ankle injuries in there which might be a little bit of concern. He hasn't missed too many games though, it's kind of okay, not a massive concern. But you can probably tell by the way I'm talking through this video that I'm not fully sure either way. I really recommend you go and watch him because he's a really weird player to watch. There's something about him, he gives off this aura, this vibe. He isn't a normal footballer. And I mean absolutely no disrespect for that because he's quality. There's just something about him. So I really recommend that you guys go watch him. Make sure you watch him for the Netherlands. I'll cover their game against Argentina as well actually. So watch out for that. Make sure you go watch Cody Gakpo. Because I really want to hear your thoughts. I want you guys to get in the comments down below and let me know what you think. I think he's very, very good at football. I think he's very, very good at football. And I think he has the ability to be something really special. His numbers this season speak for themselves. But tactically, is he a striker? I'm not sure. I think if United had no left winger at the moment, let's say Marcus Rashford weren't at the club, Jadon Sancho weren't at the club, Garnacho weren't at the club, and United wanted to go sign Gakpo to play left wing with Martial up front, I would say absolutely you should go for this. Because as a left winger, he's absolutely quality. With Shaw overlapping him, it would allow him to come inside, create, score goals, link up with Martial. I think it would be a match made in heaven. Absolutely, United should go sign him. As a striker though, I don't think the situation is the same. And actually, I kind of want to leave the video there because I don't want to just keep repeating and waffling and repeating myself and waffling and repeating. So, please get in the comments down below and let me know what you think. Does Cody Gakpo have what it takes to be a striker at the top level? A player that can link the play, be a threat in the box, stretch your defence, go in behind, pin his centre-back. Can he do that stuff? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.